Greetings, peace be with you. So I want to start this video by asking you a question. Why is it that we can know what to do but still not do what we know? And that really is the golden question, because when we can close the gap between what we know we're supposed to do and what we actually do is when we close the gap between who we are and who we are capable of being. And in this video, I'm going to be exploring this idea through the lens of becoming a man of action with a dopamine detox. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand the very simple exercise that will allow you to apply and implement what I'm going to be revealing to you in the next few minutes. So make sure to stick to the very end of this video to follow through with that exercise. Now, with that being said, welcome to the 5th video in the Monk Mode series, in which we are diving deep in terms of how to conquer procrastination, eliminate distraction, and get laser focused on our path and purpose in life. And for those of you that checked out the previous videos in this series, know that I read each and every single comment that you left, and it really charges me up and energizes me to see that you are not only consuming this information, but you are leaving your commitments in the comment section in terms of what action you are taking after each video. And like I said, stick to the end of this video, because I'm going to be sharing with you the exercise that I'm going to ask you to leave in the comment section as well. Now, for those of you that have been following the series, you know that the Monk Mode Challenge is now live. The 30 days of daily missions, of daily coaching, of daily accountability, where we're coming together as a community to create that change in our lives, to transform on the level of mental, physical, and spiritual evolution. So if you are ready to level up in that department, open up a new tab in your browser window, go to monkmodechallenge.com and check that out to learn more about that, or I'll leave a link in the description as well. Now, with that being said, the real question, right? We have these higher values that we know we would love to embody in our lives, right? To be fit, to be healthy, to generate income, to launch our business, to reach more people with our music, whatever it is that you seek to accomplish. Why is it that it's difficult to exhibit the behaviors that allow you to create that vision? Why is it that we act against our own best interest, right? Because I remember in my journey, it's like when I was starting off, it's like I know that I'm not supposed to be binging on sugar. I know that I'm not supposed to be binging on pornography. I know that I'm not supposed to be watching endless hours of TV. I know that I'm not supposed to be playing Call of Duty like for hours on end. And the question is, why would I still do that even if I knew that that was not serving me? And the answer is, if you're ready for it, are you ready for the answer? Why is it that we don't do what we know we are supposed to do? Why do we act against our best interest? It's because we have been hacked. Okay, the dopamine reward system in our brain has been hacked. And dopamine, in a very simple explanation, is a neurotransmitter that drives human behavior. Any behavior that you repeat, it's because you get a dopamine fix from it. And there are powers out there, powers that be, right? The deep state, which is engaged in the process of hacking our dopamine reward system. And what does that look like? That looks like edible food-like substances being sold by the food industry that hijacks our taste buds, that destroys our body, but tastes amazing in the moment, right? That looks like pornography releasing endless amounts of content, giving us this plethora, this buffet of endless consumption that we can just go and bust nuts to every single day if we want, every single moment if we want. And it feels amazing in the moment, but in the long term, it destroys our well-being. What else does it look like? It looks like the social media companies giving us the fix from the likes, from the comments, from the social validation that we get, okay? And an understanding of that is really the first step. Once you understand that, okay, the reason that I do something is because I get a dopamine fix from it, how can I not only detox from that fix, but reprogram the dopamine so that I can do things that actually serve me, all right? Any habit that you repeat it because of dopamine. You repeat it because you get that spike of dopamine in your brain, and your biology thinks that you're getting rewarded for it. And these powers that be are well aware of this dopamine reward system, and therefore they continue putting out products and services that hijack it, that makes us do things that feel good in the short term, but destroy our glorious future in the process. Okay, so that's really the first step in understanding, okay, there is this game at play and there is this awareness that has to be exercised in order to overcome this programming. Okay, understand that your body is your subconscious mind. Okay, really let that sink in, because the conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg, right? You look at it, okay, that's the tip of the iceberg, that's what I see. But underneath the hood, underneath the appearance, 90% of your mind is subconscious, right? Your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, your temperature regulation, all of these functions are taking place without your conscious awareness. And this subconscious mind is actually being hijacked. The body has been hijacked to release dopamine in accordance with these short-term instant gratification fixes. And once we begin to take action to rewire the dopamine, as I talked about in a previous video, it's not about detoxing from the dopamine, it's about reprogramming that dopamine into loving the things that are actually hard, into loving the things that actually serve us. Okay, now let this next point really sink in. Take out a pen, take notes on this, because this point will really change everything. Okay, short-term gain but long-term pain equals pain. Okay, but short-term pain and long-term gain equals gain. All right, in other words, what feels good in the moment destroys your future, but what might not feel amazing in the moment can end up creating your glorious future, right? Like in the beginning, I remember I was going to the gym and it was like I had to force myself, I had to push myself to actually follow through. I didn't like the pain, I didn't like pushing past my comfort zone, but now it's gone to the point where when I am pushing past my comfort zone is when I actually get pleasure from that. That is what actually gives me that dopamine fix, and that is what allows me to continue leveling up in the level of my physical development. In the same way, when you love doing hard things, when you love expressing yourself, when you love making music, even though it's hard, even though you don't feel like it, that is the key to reprogramming your dopamine. Okay, really understand that. And what it starts with is understanding that you have these higher values, you have this higher self that is capable of so much. And when we don't act in alignment with the values of our higher self, it's because we've been hijacked. And when we've been hijacked, when we don't act in alignment with our higher self, is when we experience lower emotions. Okay, when there is a gap between how you are showing up in life and how you are showing and how you are capable of showing up in life, only in that gap do the lower emotions of regret, disillusionment, anxiety, shame, guilt, fear, all of these lower emotions only exist in the gap between how you're showing up and how you're capable of showing up. Okay, as we strive to close that gap is when we begin to experience the higher emotions of love, of peace, of joy, of fulfillment, of knowing that we are making the most of the gifts that we have been given. Okay, someone once told me the definition of hell, and it's to this day it gives me the chills. And he said that hell is the place where who you were meets who you could have been. Really think about that. Going on your last day to your maker, and your maker saying, yo, Mo, so this is who you were, this is all that you accomplished, but this is who you could have been. Meet this person who you could have been. If I meet that person and I don't recognize him because he's just at such another level, I can't imagine anything worse than that. Meeting who I could have been and being so different, right? The more we close that gap, the more we begin to experience those higher emotions. Okay, I remember when I was trapped in that cycle of destructive habits that weren't serving me, I would experience these lower emotions of depression, of anxiety, of feeling like I'm going to be in this downward spiral forever. But the reality is that emotions are just a signal. Okay, understand that. There is a signal. And when we're feeling those lower emotions, that is a signal for us to get awareness on some aspect of our lives. But of course, there's another very powerful force that is working against us getting that awareness, and that is the medical industry. They give us the antidepressants that numbs us out, that blocks off the signal, and therefore we aren't able to get awareness on what needs to be addressed. Okay, so what is the most important thing? It's to live in alignment with our higher values. Okay, and when we are not living in alignment with those highest values is when we fall to the level of low vibration energy. So the key is to reprogram our dopamine to love doing hard things, like I talked about in the first preview video. But it really comes down to following through with a certain habit until it becomes part of who you are. To follow through with a certain behavior that serves in the expression of your highest potential to the point of automaticity, whereby it becomes harder not to do the thing than to do the thing. I remember when I was first making videos, it was so hard for me. I would procrastinate. I would do take after take after take. I would worry about, oh, my eyebrows are too thick. Oh, my beard is messed up. Oh, this, that, and the other thing. I would hold myself back. But now, after following through with that again and again and again, repetition is the mother of mastery. It's actually to this point harder for me not to film a video than to film a video. And like, I can't go to sleep until I publish a video, until I express what I am here to express, because I've made that commitment, and that allows me to experience those higher emotions even when I don't feel like doing the thing. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is, first and foremost, think about 3 of your most important values. What is most important to you? Okay, really think about that. So for me, my most important value is personal growth, because I understand that the more that I grow, the more that every aspect of my life grows, the more I'm able to show up in my relationships, the more I'm able to show up in my business, the more I'm able to show up in every aspect of my life when I invest in my own personal growth. A lot of people talk to me, they're like, yo, I don't have the money, I don't have X, right? Any excuse that comes up, I don't have this, and that's why I can't achieve the goal, right? But understand that when you invest in yourself, that is what pays the best interest, right? Like, how much have you invested in yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, when we don't invest in ourselves, then we can't expect anyone else to invest in us. I know that in my journey in the beginning, I was like trying to sell products and, trying to do all this stuff. But then it's at the end of the day, it's like I'm expecting someone else to do something for me, which I can't do for myself. And as soon as I started investing in myself, like my coaching, like my mastermind, by some happenstance, then it was more likely for me to be confident with how I express my value proposition, and then people are more likely to invest over there as well, right? So personal growth is the most important thing for me, because I understand that when I grow, everything in my life grows. The second thing is service, right? If I, like, at the end of the day, like, I think about what would be the one thing running through my mind, it would be like, did I give more than I took, right? Was I a taker or a giver, right? Did I leave people better than I found them? Did I leave the world better than I found them? And of course, we have different levels of impact. We are all on a different journey. We're all on a different path. But at the end of the day, did I give more than I took? That is amongst the most important values for me, and that's part of the reason that I make videos every single day, to really express and live in alignment with that value, right? And the third thing is really compassion. Did I treat other people like I treat myself? And of course, I continue to practice this. It's a struggle, man. Like, I go through it sometimes and I'm like, I can't believe I treated this person this way just because he has a quote unquote lower status than me. Like, at the end of the day, I know spiritually we all have perfect DNA, that we all come from the same source, that we're all going to the same source, that we are all each other, living different lives, that we're just the same consciousness, having different experiences. But when it comes to actually practicing that, it's difficult for me. And that is something I remind myself every day. How can I leave someone better than I found them? How can I treat someone the same way that I would treat myself? How can I smile at someone even when I don't feel like it? How can I leave someone with better energy even though I'm feeling low? That is what I think about. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is this. Think of 3 values that are most important to you, and then write down an action that you can take every single day that allows you to live those values as well. Leave it in the comment section below. 3 most important values and 3 actions, or 2, 1, however many actions you can take to live in those values. And the more that you live in alignment with your highest values, the more you will transcend these lower emotions and begin to evolve on every level of your life. I can promise you that. Okay, so with that, I conclude this video. If you want to learn more about the Monk Mode Challenge, go to monkmodechallenge.com or click the link in the description, click the link in the comments. I'm going to leave it in both places, but please also follow through with what I've laid out for you right now, because that is really what it comes down to at the end of the day, living in alignment with your values. Because when you don't, when you get hijacked, is when you begin to experience those lower emotions. Okay, so leave that comment right now and go to Monk Mode Challenge if you want to work with me personally and go through this as a community to create real lasting transformation in your life. So with all that being said, this has been Mo here. I hope you got value from this video, and I will catch you in the next one.